Okay, we are. Uh-oh. What's up, YouTube family? Lex here in the beautiful New York City metropolitan area. I figured today would be a great day to get outside and get some fresh air and do this video, as of most of my videos are taking place inside. Today, we're just going to jump straight into what my camera settings are. Mr. J, new subscriber, thank you. He wanted to know some of my settings, and I'm pretty sure some of you others also wanted to know what my video and photo settings were when setting up the custom menus and the custom dials. So I'm going to show you guys that, and also sum up the video with my final take on the Fujifilm X-H2s, who I think it's for and is it for you. So let's get straight into it. So first up, what you want to do is turn on your camera, and for video you want to switch to the little video movie little icon, and this is where we're going to set up your custom video functions for filmmaking. The first thing that I did, I went into movie settings, and then I always choose DCI 17:9. That's just my favorite to film in. And then I set this to the frame rate to 24 frames per second. And then I went down and I chose the first card because I want to record in ProRes, which is the CFast Type B card. And I went to ProRes 422 movie, and we are filming in F-Log. Then I exit, made sure that I'm in manual mode so I can have more control over what I'm doing. Then I made sure that my data level was set to full range. My photometry was set to multi. Now this is a cool and interesting function, the flickerless shutter speed setting. I will only turn this on when I start to see those flickers in video, which I rarely see, but it's good to have. I have my image stabilization mode set to IBIS. Right now, my ISO is set to 3200, but my custom function, if I'm setting this up, since we are using F-Log 2, the base ISO is 1250, so I would leave it on 1250 before saving it. Set your zebra level to 85%. Then I turn my sharpness down to -4. My high ISO noise reduction set to -4. Skip that. My focus area setting set to the middle. Right now we are in manual focus mode, but if you are using a good lens with good autofocus, set this to autofocus continuous if you trust it, as I do. My autofocus mode is set to area, and I like to turn this to tracking +3, AF speed -2. It's just my forte. Right now, the face and eye detection settings are off. I would get into the custom dials and buttons in a second, but I just want to show you how I have everything set up. My manual focus assist is set to peaking, and I have it on blue highlight. It's my favorite. Seems to work great. Let's go down, and my touchscreen mode is set to area. You can set it to whatever you like, but I like to set it to area. My internal mic adjustment is set to -18, and my external is set to -18. These are my preferences for the mic that I use. You may change yours, and then go forward from here. And then for my menu, if you want to set up your my menu, you can set up your my menu setting and hit this add items. Now in my menu setting, I have the movie settings list, so if I want to change anything in this section, such as if I want to shoot in ProRes, or if I want to change it to H.265 all I, you could do so. If you want to change from a log from F-Log1, F-Log2, or some type of film simulation, you could do that here on the fly. It's right there in the my menu setting. Subject detection, I have that set to on. So if I want to quickly come in my menu and pick which thing I'm trying to focus on, whether it be an automobile or a bird, it's right there. My autofocus mode, I can quickly change. My autofocus settings, I could quickly change on the fly. My zebras, I could turn them on and off. Once again, a lot of these are already set to custom buttons all around the camera, but we'll get into that in a second. And my external mic level adjustment is -18. Headphones, touchscreen mode, flickerless shutter speed settings, HDMI output settings, and say if there are things that I like to change over time in a specific custom mode, I have edit save custom setting in the my menu settings. And this just, just keeps things interesting, and it just allows me to make changes over time rather than having to go and reset everything, so now going back to video, I just want to get into my custom dial functions. These little dials are set to different things, and for me, I feel like it works great for video shooters. So the left, I have to auto white balance lock. So right now we're in auto white balance. That's what the custom mode is set to. And then when I find my correct white balance, I just want to lock it, right? So I'll have a gray card sometimes. I'll put it in front of the lens, it'll get it, and then I'll just quickly lock it. And that's that. When I click down, we have the internal mic level adjustment, as these can come in hot and clip very easily. My right pad is set to my focus modes, which you could switch between what type of focus you would like, between continuous autofocus, manual focus, or one shot single autofocus. Right now it's in continuous, but if I quickly want to switch to manual, boom, it's right there, quick and easy to switch. Now going up, I have it set to my ISO. And this is because sometimes reaching at the top of the camera up here at the ISO button, it can be quite annoying. So just being able to just quickly just tap that, boom, hit it, boom, change my ISO quickly in the back of the camera, I can do so. And I don't know, that's just a feature that I enjoy. I have my AF on button set to eye tracking. So if we go in here, right now we see that it is on eye tracking, and when I want to turn that off, boom, just click it again, and now we see that it's off. Now this button up here, let me tilt down for you. This button right here, I don't know if you can see it, it's the first button, right? That is set to IBIS. So I can change my IBIS if I want it off, if I want regular IBIS, it's all there. The dial in front of the camera, that is set to be able to punch in, which is a movie crop mode. So say if I zoom all the way in and I'm like, I need a little bit extra reach, boom, I can crop in, and it does so pretty well, and it still keeps the resolution pretty high. So now in the front and the bottom, this is usually set to focus mode, but I changed it to zebras, if you will. And you click it 3 times, you turn it off, but I have that set to zebras. That way it can help me expose properly. So in this case, I would either bump up the shutter speed or just crank up my f-stop, and now boom. Now the sub monitor setting, and this one is for you, Mr. J. You asked about how I got the top LCD screen to be what it is, whether it's clear, and how to change it. Now you come in here into the sub monitor settings. Now when you're in still mode, when you want to take photos, you can change what you want to see at the top just by coming in here. Let me go back, screen setup, sub monitor settings, still mode, and you could go down and you could change what shows on the top LCD right in here. And then when it comes to movie mode, when you're shooting film, you could change what you see on the top LCD right in here. Now you can have nothing on there if you would like, but this is how I have mine set up. Now the function buttons. Once again, I just want to run through these function buttons. This is where you get into it, where you could change where you want to make your custom functions. You come to setup, button dial setting, function FM. Okay, so custom mode 1 is set to 4K at 24 frames per second in F-Log 2 with a shutter speed double of the 24 frames per second, which is a shutter speed of 48. C2, we have it set to 4K at 60 frames per second in F-Log 2 with a shutter speed of 120. And custom mode 3 is set to 6K, which is the 3x2 open gate. We're recording at 24 frames per second in F-Log 2. And C4, once again, is 6K, 3x2 open gate, set to 24 frames per second. But instead of filming in F-Log 2, we'll be filmed in a film simulation mode, which is ASTIA. And the ones below it are all my custom photo settings. So C5 is I labeled it Dumbo, C6 is labeled the Loft Look, and C7 is labeled Midtown. So let's get into those settings. Okay, now getting into my custom photo modes. This is Dumbo. Now you're probably wondering, like, why does he label it Dumbo? That's because when I made this film simulation mode in this custom mode, I was in Dumbo, Brooklyn. So I have it set to image size large, 3x2, shooting in fine plus raw, lossless, compressed. You can choose whatever you like. This saves a little bit of space. In JPEG mode, in the film simulation, it's classic chrome with some tweaks. The grain effect is off. I could add grain in post. The color chrome effect is set to strong. The color chrome effects blue is set to strong. We're on auto white balance. The dynamic range is set to 200. Dynamic range priority is off. The tone curve, I have to put the highlights at -1. Just softens the highlights, and I left the shadows alone, and I boosted the color because classic chrome can be a little bit desaturated. The sharpness is set to 0. The high ISO noise reduction is set to -4, and the clarity is set to 0. Going to C6. Basically same settings. Only difference is we're shooting in ASTIA soft with the highlights set to -2 and the shadows set to -1. Color +2, sharpness 0, high ISO noise reduction -4. And you could try out these settings if you'd like for yourself. And C7, we have this on standard, no, not so stylized. The grain effect is off. The color chrome effect is off. The color chrome effects blue is set to weak. The white balance is auto. Dynamic range 200. Highlights set to -1. Color 0. Sharpness -2. High ISO -2. And clarity 0.